Can I please get our does over 1 year to the show ring? Does over 1 year to the show ring.
Good evening, welcome to Eddy County Fair. This is your breeding goat show. The market the market goats will be after the 2 classes of breeding goats. Our judge here tonight is Chad Coburn. He's from Sterling City, Texas, and he is currently the county extension agent for agriculture and natural resources in Sterling County. For Texas A&M Agri-Life Extension. Howard County. He's been an extension agent for 28 years, received the Distinguished Agent ranking through Texas A&M in 2021. Chad has judged multiple species in 26 states, including all of the Texas majors, numerous state fairs, and most of the national shows. His 4-H livestock judging teams have won over 250 titles, including the 2018 and 2019 Texas 4-H State Championship. He's married to his wife, Tracy. They have a daughter, Addison, who is the marketing coordinator for Beef Master Breeders United, and a son, Gunner, who is on the Texas A&M livestock judging team currently. He has his current kids that he's coaching in his 4-H livestock judging team with him. Please welcome Chad from Sterling City, Texas.
Well, good afternoon. It's a privilege to be in New Mexico to analyze these goats and work with your young people. Got a good start to the goat show here, and we've got a variation of type and kind and age. And so before we get started, I've got a trio of young men with me that travel from Texas. As they were introduced, they're part of my judging program, and so I like to get kids into the ring as much as I can to get them some experience, get their hands on the animals, and kind of feel what it's like to be on this side of the fence other than showing and being on the outside. And so good set of kiddos here. We got Austin, the closest to me. Wave your hand, Austin. He's a cattle kid from Texas. We got Corbin, his little brother, on the end, and in the middle is Hadley. But anyway, they're just going to shadow me today. They're not going to have any decision making. It's going to be my call, but they're going to just kind of go through the motions and learn what it's like. All that said, so the little bitty one wins, and this is why she does. As you study these goats in regards to age and quality, I think she's the one that's the most unique and the hardest to build in terms of her structural integrity. As we go out throughout the evening, I'm going to be after animals that are sound and functional at the surface, and some of these, and there's some variation between these as we get on down the line here. There's some goats that have some issues from a structural standpoint that I'm going to get a little more critical on. Give credit where credit's due. She's not the biggest, but I think in terms of just her growth potential, that's the length of her head, neck, and cannon. She's got plenty to her. I like the turn and shape that she offers to her forerib, but more impressively, you study down her top side of her skeleton, down her back, and her hook up from her hip to her loin. That's where she excels the doe in second. And you get her right behind her and study her from a true base width perspective. That gal's got plenty to her. I like her quite a bit. So this goat in second's got a unique look to her in terms of just maternal look out through her rear rib and flank compared to our class winner. Wants to get a little more pinched in her forerib, gets up in her spine just a shot, maybe not quite as good out of her hip and her tail set compared to the class winner. Love the maternal value that she offers from the side. You can see that through her lower rear rib and flank, and I appreciate that about her. Kind of an interesting pair comes next. I'm going to opt to use the one that I think is just more unique in terms of build and front end quality. Young lady's got there. That's the one that attaches the longest neck, the highest at the top of her blade. I want to see more forerib in her. I want to lengthen her out from her last rib back, change her out of her hip and hind leg just a shot, but a good kind of a goat to be a logical third. I like this one in fourth, young man. There's a lot of parts and pieces to her that I really latch on to. Study that one from knee up and hock up. I like her body. I just need to see her with a shot better running gear off of her hock and hind leg as she comes and goes. Want to change her in regards to the way that she hits the surface off of her toe, but that is a good looking one that on the profile you really, really like. I like her body quite a bit. Then we got a trio of goats that are powerful, and so if you want to say that those are the more powerful ones, I agree with that. I just want to change each and every one of them structurally just a shot. Young lady in the kind of the green shirt there from blade back, I can really like that one. I like her top side shape and mass. I think she's big and stout out of her upper hip. I like her hind leg. Up front is where I take issue with her. She gets pretty coarse and pronounced at the point of her shoulder. She wants to transition pretty tight in her forerib there. Just need to make her go just a shot better off her front end. Good looking doe comes next. I just want to change her out of her hock and hind leg just a little in regards to mobility. She's another one that could use just a shot more forerib in her in relation to her frame. Good looking, put her on a power buck. I think you're going to be really, really pleased with her progeny. So the problem goat really for me in the whole class is the blonde-headed one coming next. The young lady has, if I could change the front end quality of that one, I can get that one way, way high in this class because of center body, depth of body, and proportionality through her rear rib and flank. She contends to win the class. Up front, I hope you can see what I see. That one's too far forward in her scapula that causes her to buck over at her knee. I just can't feel comfortable enough getting her any higher out of her front knee and foot. All that said, we got a pretty one completes the class. That one's one of the more unique ones that if we put her with the power buck, I think we can make a lot of really good weathers out of her. She's got a neat look to her. She's sound, she's practical and good looking. She's the narrowest, she's the flattest and the lightest muscle off of both ends of her skeleton. All that said, put your hands together for your kids, please.
Please bring your Division I Class 1 meat goats to the holding ring. Division I Class 1 meat goats to the holding ring. Doe under 1 year, first place Creed Hughes, Zia Sharpshooters. Second place Creed Hughes, Zia Sharpshooters. Third place Madison Mancha, Artesia FFA. Fourth place Aiden Cox, Brush Poppers 4-H. Fifth place Clancy Conklin, Cottonwood 4-H. 6th place, McKenna Cox, Brush Poppers 4-H. 7th place, Presley Gaines, Conwood 4-H. And 8th place, Aubrey Putman, Country Clovers.
Well, a really good one here. You know, you hear judges say a lot of times that single entries, you could stand more competition, and that's a redundant statement. That's true in this case. This is a high quality female. I told the boys when she came in, I said, that one's pretty good. And you study her, again, from blade back, and the amount of natural shape and definition of muscle that she offers on the top side of her skeleton is impressive. But more impressive to me is her hock and hind leg. I love the angle to her joint, the way that she pushes and plants her hind leg is immaculate. I want to change her just a little bit at the top of her blade. That's getting pretty particular. She could just use a shot more extension out of her neck, clean her up just a little bit at the base of her neck. Again, that's getting pretty particular on a high-powered female. We'll see how she stacks up against these little ones. Congratulations to him. Put your hands together for him, please.
Your first place goes to Aiden Cox, Brush Poppers.
Well, a really impressive female show, and again, small numbers, but you know, I've judged a lot in this part of the country, and I know that you're going to get incredible quality, and I'd rather judge a bunch of good ones than some mediocre ones, and these have all been really good. And so I think it gets pretty close as you get these three back out here, and from ringside you can definitely see some differences between them. Very briefly, I want to talk these two that wins that first class, just because if you're just showing up late, you're thinking, wow, that one in the middle is pretty little, and she is. But I think her age, her maturity, and her growth curve, and her potential that she offers is not an issue once she reaches not her endpoint value, but from a maternal perspective, there's plenty of grow in that goat. She's the most unique. She's the hardest to build. I guess if we go back into weather production, she's easily the hardest to build just because of her muscle type and shape. It's hard to lay that kind of foundation in foot and bone size with that kind of forerib shape, and that lends to the fact that she's got just tremendous rack shape and definition of muscle going down her top and throughout, and still has enough high quality and presence from the side. I think that one's incredible in terms of a breeding piece down the road. After that, I think these other two offer some trade-offs. The young lady that was second in that class, again, I want to change that one just a little bit down her top line. Ask that one to move about the ring. She wants to get up, and I want to transition her just a shot smoother in her hip and her from her forerib into her heart there. But a good kind of a goat that has a lot of maternal value to her. We just talked this older goat here. We want to change just a little bit. Got a good showman on her, and so from here, three-quarter view, you really like that one. We put her in motion. I want to change her out of her next set just a shot. All that said, Austin's going to go out. He's going to name the champion reserve. Put your hands together for your great set of kiddos again. Been a good doe show.
Your champion breeding goat goes to Creed Hughes, does under 1 year. Your reserve champion breeding goat goes to Aiden Cox, does over 1 year. Can we please get Division I Class 2 in the holding pin? Division I Class 2 in the holding pin.
Well, a good start to the weather or the market end of things here. We got a nice weather to win. I think he's one that is unique in his build and feature, big bone, big footed, big toed, and all those kinds of things that go with that kind of skeleton. And yet when you put your hands on him, I think he's got enough shape to him right behind his blade, carries that into a deep and durable loin edge, very, very athletic on the surface, and I think just a pretty easy place to start. There's debate between 2, 3, and 4, to be honest with you. Really like the build and the goat in second on the go. At times when he's on the stand, she does a good job with him, but he kind of wants to push his top up. That's not really him as we ask him to go. I think he's still good enough at the surface, and I think he's got enough muscle shape to him, allow him to be a logical second. If I could change just a few structure things, a little minor things here in this goat in third, I could get him as high as second. Really like his elevation and his extension out through his neck. I like him out through his chest floor. Kind of works to his disadvantage though. As you stud him up at the top part of his blade, maybe doesn't transition quite as shapely into his forerib, but I definitely prefer his hock and hind leg and hip structure out of his upper hip compared to the goat in third. The one in third, or the one in fourth, excuse me, handles really good, and our youngster here, he noticed that and thought that we could maybe switch that pair. And if you touch them and handle them, I think that's a justification to do that. Structurally, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Just think he's a little coarser at the point of his shoulder. There's no doubt that he's shorter out of his hip, causing him to get a little tight and restricted at the surface off his hock and hind leg. I want to open his pin up and stouten him up just a shot. Next pair of goats are different. The stouter featured weather comes next. I just want to transition him just a shot smoother in his hook up from his hip to his loin. Just want to change him ever so slightly out of his hock and hind leg as well. Top side or front third of his skeleton, I like him quite a bit. Got as good a shape to his forerib as any in class. Next one I need to change out of his hock. There's no doubt that he's got enough muscle to him. He's been fed very well, been presented very well. He handles really good. I take issue with him out from his hock to the ground. As you want to study him, he wants to knuckle up and get up on his toe just a little bit. As you watch him go out the ring, I just need him to be a shot more comfortable. The remaining trio are good built goats. We're going to end classes with those that are designed and have some look and some quality to them. Unfortunately, they just don't match that with the handling qualities. The goats that beat them, they need to be stouter, they need to be more shapely, just need to come and go with a shot more punch and power. All that said, a nice 3 or 4 on top. Put your hands together for your kids, please.
Can we please get all of your Division I Class 3 meat goats to the holding pin? Division I Class 3 meat goats to the holding pin. Class 2, I apologize. Class 1, first place, Ty Crook, Cottonwood 4-H. Second place, Bailey Trujillo, Artesia FFA. Third place, Peyton Putman, Country Clovers. Fourth place, Presley Gaines, Cottonwood 4-H. Fifth place, Jaylee Joy, Cottonwood 4-H. Sixth place, Chloe Platt, Artesia 4-H. Seventh place, Jonathan Lopez, Country Clovers. Eighth place, Kobe Norman, Loving 4-H. And ninth place, Lainey West, Loving 4-H. Again, please bring all your Class 3 meat goats to the holding pin. Class 3 meat goats to the holding pin.
Another really good class here with some challenge on top. I think there's 4 or 5 in here that are debatable and you can do a lot of different things with. And again, as you go throughout the evening and study the fundamentals of market animal evaluation and put muscularity into the mix there, there's no doubt that our class winner touches the best. He's got the most fresh shape up top and handles very aggressively, and I like that about him. I'll tell you right now, and I'm gonna be critical on every one of them. I don't like his front knee, and I'll just tell you that right now. He's too straight. He's too straight from his knee to the ground. He wants to toe out just a shot, but I definitely prefer him out of his hock and hind leg compared to the weather behind him. And so there's some trade-offs there between them. Structurally, I just prefer his handling quality just a shot better than the red-caped one in second. Really good showman on the one in second. On the stand there, you can get to liking him. We put him in motion. He doesn't utilize his hock and hind leg as efficiently as our class winner. Maybe not as attractive out through the point of his shoulder or the base of his neck compared to the goat that wins. Nice presented weather that touches okay. Just a nice kind of a weather to be in second. Problem goats come in 3 and 4 in my opinion. If you want to study one that has feature and muscularity in relation to his frame, you like this goat coming next. I just want him to piece together a little more proportional, specifically out of his front third. He gets a little bolder and more pronounced in his chest and his sternum. He's a little shorter about his neck. And if I could just change him cosmetically up front, that would allow him just to be a shot nicer profiling. I could easily get that guy as high as even winning the class because from blade back, I like the feature that he offers. Another problem one comes next. So we saw her out there and I thought to myself, and even the boys made the comment, that red one's pretty good. And when you study that one from profile and balance and look and presence, you really like her. I want to drop her rear ribbon and flank just a shot. That's not why she's sitting fourth. She's sitting fourth because she handles the least descript in her hookup from her hip to her loin. She's a little flatter legged through the center and lower part of her leg. Put her in motion. I'd put her more in a breeding piece, young lady, and make a weather mama out of that one. I like her skeleton quite a bit. Just needs more muscle. Another really good looking one comes next, young man. I wish that one had a little more forerib to him. If he does that, he gets more shape and spread on the top side of his skeleton. He does those things and he wins. Unfortunately, he's the flattest ribbed one. He's the lightest muscle to the top side of his skeleton of our top end goats. I like his skeleton, just not enough meat animal shape in my opinion. Then we come with another heavy, stout featured one comes next that gets a little piecier, a little bolder shouldered, a little more pronounced in his shoulder and more pinched in his forerib. You can see as he goes out the ring, wants to get up in his top just a shot. And then again, a trio of good-looking ones here. Give kudos to the young man that held in there with his goat. They just need to have more shape and power to them. All that said, that was a challenge to the sort. Good learning for these youngsters. Put your hands together for these kids, please.
Can I please get all of your first and second places from Division 1 to the holding ring? First and second places from Division 1 to the holding ring. In Class 2, first place went to Clancy Conklin, Cottonwood 4-H. Second place, Aiden Cox, Brush Poppers 4-H. Third place, Aubrey Putman, Country Clovers. Fourth place, Bailey Trujillo, Artesia FFA. Fifth place, Aubrey Putman, Country Clovers. Sixth place, Colton Platt, Artesia 4-H. Seventh place, Peyton Putman, Country Clovers. Eighth place, Jonathan Lopez, Country Clovers. And ninth place, Alexander West, Loving 4-H.
Really nice competitive class here. I think we've got a pretty clear-cut winner in my opinion, and my colleagues confer here. I think that one's just the most unique in terms of his presence and his look, but more importantly, you can back that up with enough shape and touch and handling quality up high. A nice look to him. Again,